A 40-year-old maid in the palace was tricked with wine by the young emperor and taken to the pavilion hall. The emperor mistook her for a concubine and spent the night with her. The next morning the woman feared being accused of impropriety and left in a hurry without seeing his face. By coincidence it was her 40th birthday and also the day she was finally allowed to leave the palace. When the emperor awoke he could not forget the woman from the night before, but he had no idea she had already gone. Back in her hometown the woman gave birth to twins, a gentle daughter and a clever son. Because the family was poor she could not afford their schooling and simply told them their father had died 6 years earlier. Meanwhile the Empress Dowager grew anxious since the emperor still had no heir. Since that night he showed no interest in any concubine and always made excuses. A eunuch offered advice suggesting that she host a banquet and invite 100 children into the palace so she could adopt one and pray it would bring fertility. The Empress Dowager accepted the plan. By chance that eunuch was from the same village as the woman. When the news spread the villagers all hoped their children would be chosen. When the children were brought in the eunuch was stunned to see one boy who looked strikingly like the young emperor. He cried out in shock, then steadied himself and asked the boy's name. The child introduced himself as Shinshenyo and pointed to his sister Shinshenyue. The eunuch checked the registry and saw neither name was listed. He grew angry and demanded an explanation. The village chief said their mother had borne them without marriage and so they had no right to enter the palace. The boy angrily denied it, insisting that he and his sister were not illegitimate. The more the eunuch looked the more frightened he became because the boy was almost identical to the emperor in his youth. But he also knew the emperor would never acknowledge a lowborn woman. The mother tried to take her children away but the village chief threatened to lock her in a bamboo cage. The eunuch was shaken by the boy's eyes which were exactly like the emperor's and he fell to his knees. For safety he decided to bring the children before the Empress Dowager. For 6 years the emperor had never stopped searching for the woman from that night, even ordering secret investigations of former maids. When the mother and her children entered the palace they were mocked for their lowly status. The angry boy tried to defend them but tripped and fell before the emperor. The emperor rushed to him worried about his injury and ordered him treated. He could not understand why seeing this child hurt made his own heart ache. Everyone in the hall knelt while the emperor caught a familiar scent from the child. A thought crossed his mind, could the woman from that night be this child's mother? The Empress Dowager felt pity for the children but her cousin exposed the woman for bearing children without marriage, accusing her of lacking virtue. The Empress Dowager flew into a rage and ordered 50 lashes. The woman was beaten nearly to death and her son finally broke down, biting the eunuch and shouting angrily at the Empress Dowager. The guards barked orders to seize the boy and put him to death. The mother pleaded desperately, saying the law forbade executing children under 7 and her son was only 5. The Empress Dowager laughed coldly, saying no law could restrain her. The young boy stood tall and asked how the mother of a nation could seek to kill a child and still expect the people to respect her. He defended his mother fiercely, reminding them that filial piety was the root of all virtue, and if he could not protect his own mother how could he ever speak of loyalty to the country? The eunuch mocked him for growing up without a father and the officials agreed, claiming the mother and son would be a future threat. The woman shielded her son with her body but the Empress Dowager declared that, while the boy was bright, if left unchecked he would one day defy all authority. The beating continued as the boy cried out condemning such rule, calling the Empress Dowager incompetent and warning she would lose the people's hearts. Everyone in the hall was stunned to see how closely the boy resembled the emperor in his youth. At that very moment a herald announced the emperor's arrival.